What a lovely song that was. Oh man. Hello everyone and welcome to another new episode of Next to the Floor. My name is Harrison. I am your host with the most. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Holidays, Happy almost just knocked over a glass of wine. Happy Hanukkah, good Kwanzaa, etc. I am joined by, I was gonna say Mr. Grinch himself, but I don't want to be rude. Bjorn Anselm.
Hey. I was gonna wear
Hello.
green today.
Well, I am wearing green, but it's not a super dark green, so you won't be able to tell. But how are you? Hello. Happy
holidays
day.
and
Happy
all
holidays.
The season.
'Tis the season.
Peace and love to everyone.
It's exactly where you celebrate Christmas, correct?
I do.
Okay.
Yes.
What were you a good boy this year? Did Santa visit you and leave you more than a lump of coal?
You know, we had COVID, I think, prevented everybody from being bad, like, for the most part. So,
well, that
at least on my side,
I would say there's about 7 or 8 months of evidence arguing contrary to that opinion, but continue.
Right.
But you see the good in people. That's good.
True that.
That's good. Did you receive anything delightful that, as Marie Kondo says, that brings you joy?
Totally. I got these amazing Bose headphone glasses, I'll call them.
What?
Right. So I'm in a position right now doing loads and loads of audio and video editing and engineering. So I'm staring at a screen all day, and now I have these things to hear my music and like stare at the screen with no eye deterioration, so
that's
I've
awesome.
been jamming out. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I never knew they existed, so I was like, okay.
Welcome
Life
to,
just changed a little bit.
For real. Welcome to 2020. Holy hell.
Right? Okay. And goodbye to 2020 also.
Oh, yeah. Goodbye. Thanks for being here or whatever.
I saw this crazy meme today that I think I reposted it. It said, does anybody else feel weird that the name of next year is 2021 with a WON? I was like, oh my God. I mean,
Well, if that's an ominous portent, I don't know what is. My God.
What are you gonna do? 2021. Let's go.
Yeah, I'm excited to leave it behind me. As you can see, our hashtag for today is hashtag we hate it here. So, oh man. Well, those are really fun. I'm excited to see that you got some cool.
Yeah, man. How about yourself? Did Anna make it through the chimney and all that?
I don't have a chimney, but he came through the front door.
Nice.
With some really cool stuff. So the two things that I'm most excited. So I'm really excited about all of my gifts. One of them I'm super excited about, but I can't talk about on our podcast just because my mom, listen, I'm a child. My mother asked me not to say anything. So because
gotta respect mom.
Yeah, it's gonna make my sister very upset. So I'm not gonna say anything.
Okay, I think you said too much already.
Yes, I will substitute that exciting gift with another one. So my parents sent my husband and I a whole bunch of stuff. A crate of wine.
Love it already.
I know, like 13 bottles of wine. Which is awesome. So I've broken into one of the Pinot Grigios.
Okay.
It is
Are you typically a white drinker, or do you have
I'm
a
not.
preference?
I'm very much a red.
Yeah, me too.
Very much a red.
I will say the wine drinking started at about 10:45 on Christmas morning.
Hey, it's
You
5 o'clock somewhere.
right?
It is 5 o'clock somewhere.
Oh yeah.
Let's see, where did this thing come from? I believe it's called nakedwines.com, and they basically,
They're good.
it's a third party like wine shipping company, but they partner with a bunch of like small wineries and get all of their wines out there to the public. So they put together cases of like basically one of each type of wine. So right now I'm drinking F. Stephen Miller Pinot Grigio.
Okay.
So it's quite nice. Very lovely. I'm not normally, as I said, a white wine drinker. So I've got a couple of Chardonnays in the fridge that I'm like probably going to be the last ones that I drink, because I should have drank them first because they're not my favorite, but whatever. And then my most exciting present that I'm most stoked for, I got a cookbook by one of my favorite cooks / bakers, the fabulous, phenomenal Claire Saffitz.
Nice.
Of Bon Appetit fame. If you're looking for some drama and intrigue in your life, which 2020 wasn't chock full of it enough already, you need to get into all of the drama that happened with Bon Appetit and Condé Nast back in May, after the George Floyd shootings. It was wild. I was here for it. Condé Nast had a beautiful, like an incredible thing going with their Bon Appetit YouTube channel, and was like, had probably one of the largest followings of like at-home cooks and just regular people. And then pardon my French, but they fucked it up. Like huge.
I'm all for it.
Oh man, it's the whole timeline of it was wild. Anyway, so I got this book. I'm not a big baker, because the process of baking and like the concept of baking and like the precision required has always scared me. So I've always like stuck more with the cooking route.
Yeah.
And not like baking as in like pastry, because that's a whole branch of culinary that like,
it's a fine skill.
yes. But I got some other things, but those are three of the things that I was like most excited for. So I'm going to be doing a lot of dessert cooking, and then some other cooking and some wine drinking. What more could you ask for to end out the year?
Right.
Have you, I don't want to say stupid questions, actually. I think a fairly decent question. Have you always celebrated Christmas, or have you dabbled in other holidays?
I, at a point, tried to just study, and I grew up in Brookline. So, I grew up in Dorchester and went to school in Brookline. So I've been exposed to loads of different cultures and backgrounds. And
so you celebrated Christmas with all of your friends and classmates were Jewish.
Right. So I was like, I learned so many things.
Basically what that is, grew up in Dorchester, went to school in Brookline. That's kind of the nuts and bolts.
All the stuff. So my family's always, my family was Christian and part Seventh-day Adventist. So, we had the whole shebang.
Do Seventh-day Adventists celebrate Christmas? Or is that Jehovah's Witness that I'm thinking?
That don't?
That don't.
Jehovah's Witness.
Jehovah's Witnesses.
I believe, yeah.
Okay.
And then, celebrating Christmas means different things to different sects also.
Yes.
I think we were talking about it once, Christmas versus the Mass of Christ.
Oh, yes. Yes. Christmas
Right?
versus
Yeah.
Mass of Christ. Yes. Which, oh, I did a little background research into um, Christmas as a holiday and why it is
Yeah.
the way it is now. So, like as we know, most of the most holidays actually that are like in particular like Christian holidays. So, um, Christmas, Easter, and really that's only those two. It's kind of like those are the big ones. Then you've got Lent and all of
Right.
those things. Christmas and Easter were traditionally, as we know, pagan holidays. For
Right.
Christmas, around this time, we are celebrating Yule and the winter solstice.
Right.
And then Easter is the like celebration of Ishtar and like the coming of spring or the vernal equinox and like rebirth and blah 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 blah, and that was taken over
Right.
by the Roman Catholic Church. But what I found out is the particular timing of why they celebrate Christmas when they do right now, and it actually has nothing to do with Yule. That there's a small aspect of it that's involved there, but it actually has more to do with Saturnalia
Hmm.
and the Roman Catholic Church. So, for those of you at home who don't know, Saturnalia is basically like this big Roman celebration in which basically it was like I want to say was a celebration of the god Bacchus, or whatever the Roman equivalent of Bacchus is, Dionysus. And basically, it was just like a week long, month long, like drunken orgy. That's what Saturnalia was.
I'm like, okay.
And yeah, and the
Sounds
Roman
familiar
Catholic,
now.
yeah, and it happened around this time of year, and so the Roman Catholic Church was like, let's nix that in the bud, and let's instead celebrate the birth of Christ, the Mass of Christ, now, so that way people can't partake in this whole Saturnalia business.
Yeah, it
So
connects.
there you go. There's a fun little thing.
Good to know.
Fun things that I learned while on the internet in all
Right.
of this free time that I have. Way loads of free time.
Hey, that's life right
know.
now.
Did you ever? I asked. Did you ever have you ever celebrated Hanukkah or Kwanzaa, or I know it's in November, but like Diwali or any of the other?
Not like not like not culturally by family, I guess I would say, but I was starting to say they in school what they would do is try to expose all of those things, so we would always celebrate them one way or the other. I don't remember specifically, but I know we would do something. I don't remember if it was just based on the backgrounds of my classmates or just the things that were common known information about the different religions at the time. But we definitely celebrated at least 3 or 4 different things during the holiday season.
Party. That's fun. I know.
Yeah.
Growing up, I mean, there's always been a thing that like we were off for Christmas,
right,
and Christmas break, but I always feel like more recently, Christmas break has started like the week of Christmas, whereas when in elementary school and middle school, maybe even high school, it always started a little bit earlier to like kind of catch some of Hanukkah in there. I think. I don't remember. It was a long time ago, but
yeah.
I have only ever celebrated Hanukkah like once, and it was a singular day of Hanukkah.
Yeah.
Like, as opposed to celebrating all 8 days. It was,
right.
But as a child growing up Roman Catholic with very little, only exposure to holidays being Christmas, you think like, oh,
yeah,
8 days of celebration when in reality there's so much more to it.
Yeah.
And it's interesting that, well, I say it's interesting, but seeing as where we are as a society, it's interesting but not surprising that Christmas has lost its love and feeling, as it were, and become so much more, much like every single holiday in the United States has become such a huge commercial holiday, as opposed to like a celebration of, well, you know,
life and existence,
you know,
purpose.
But purpose for sure. And what I find the most interesting, in particular this year, is how that has really come to the, well, actually, it's kind of made the switch. I think what I saw was that even though like online sales of things have increased over the last year, but that's mostly just as a result of people being home, but retail sales for Christmas have been down like markedly this entire year, or this past season. Mostly because people are just like not buying things, whether it's because like nobody has any money, because, you know, the best our government can do is offer us maybe $600, and not even a guarantee. You know, the more I think about it, the more I feel like the Grinch was right. And the more I understand exactly where the Grinch came from.
Yeah, definitely.
I've seen that movie many times, both the cartoon and the Jim Carrey version, which 10 out of 10, highly recommend rewatching, because
I forgot about that one.
Funny. It's on Netflix.
Yeah.
It is on Netflix. I mean, every Christmas movie at the moment is on Netflix. Here's our segue. Oh, gotta love a good segue, man. I know we were talking a little bit before the podcast started about the new movie that came out, Jingle Jangle.
Yeah.
There it is, A Christmas Journey. And you know, as we were talking about it, Gary was yelling at us. He was like, "Wait, no, save it for the podcast." But
Rightfully,
you know,
so.
We're going to do what we want to do. What were your thoughts on it?
I've only seen maybe a third of it or so. And I was telling Danielle and I were waiting to watch it. We watched the preview a couple of weeks ago, and the preview was underwhelming to me. I was like, I don't know. It connects to so many things that it creates a kind of mental demand that I was like, I don't think it's gonna live up to the expectation it's creating for me. So we just kind of discarded it. Every person that has seen it has told me it was great, and so I watched about a third of it yesterday, and just everything I saw from the theatrics, the music, and like the interaction with the toys and everything, there's way more just in the little bit I watched than I expected. So far pleasantly surprised.
I think the thing that for people who haven't seen it, Jingle Jangle, A Christmas Journey, wicked cute movie, I think. You know, it's about this guy named Geronicus Jangle, who is a toy maker and inventor, and then one of his like apprentices steals his like book of thoughts or whatever, and then basically runs him out of business. And then his granddaughter like tries to bring the Christmas spirit back, blah 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 blah. It's real cute. I highly recommend. It's got an incredibly diverse cast, which was, I think, the craziest thing that I noticed. It stars Forrest Whitaker, Keegan Michael Key of Key and Peele, the toy, the little Matador toy that's in there, is Ricky Martin.
Oh, nice.
Which I had no idea.
I missed that.
I had no idea. I was like, "Who is this guy?" And then it turns out it's Ricky Martin. It's got Anika Noni Rose of she was in Dreamgirls. She played the voice of Tiana in Princess and the Frog. She's a phenomenal singer. And then it stars kind of making her screen debut, Madeline Mills, who plays the main, like, plays Jeronicus Jangle's granddaughter, Journey.
Yeah, like the muse, I guess.
Yeah, she's kind of like the person who kind of gets the whole entire plot going.
Yeah.
Really, really cute. And, I really didn't, as you said, I didn't really know what to expect going in. And I don't want to say that I went in with low expectations, but I kind of went in with, as you do with most.
You have to.
Yeah. With really any movie, and then pretty much any movie that's like produced and created for Netflix specifically, you have to go in with like low expectations and or no expectations. And I was pleasantly surprised. I felt like some of the music and dancing was a little like out of left field. Like there was one scene in there where they're like in the middle of the street. This is after Journey has come to like hang out with her grandfather or whatever. And they're like running around the street and she runs away from him and is hiding. And he's like, where the hell is this girl? And then she throws a snowball at him. And then all of a sudden we're in this like Afro pop moment. And you've got all of these people in like Victorian garb, which they have designated that style of like dress that they have in there is called Afro-Victorian. It was really cool. The costuming was really neat.
Yeah.
You've got all of these people in this like Victorian garb, all of a sudden dancing like they're from like the West Indies.
Yeah.
Or from like, Nigeria, Kenya. It was the weirdest kind of juxtaposition that like in one side I get because it was a predominantly like Black cast and they're trying to like get back to the roots of the thing. But at the other time I was like, this feels a little shoehorned and kind of weird.
Yeah.
But overall, I thought it was cute. It was cute enjoyment. I probably will I watch it again? No.
Yeah, I'll finish it soon.
Yeah. It was definitely like good, like background movie.
Yeah.
You could totally put on the background and like have other things going on.
For sure.
That's really what Netflix is for these days anyway.
I know.
That's how I watch The Office. I've seen it enough times, which is coming off of Netflix. Which is...
Yeah. I just got back onto Scrubs though, so that's my like.
I never watched Scrubs.
Really? I saw Scrubs before all the hospital shows, so I never watched any of them because that was overkill.
Now, if you had this big question, maybe, I don't know, if you had like a favorite Christmas movie, what would it be?
Oh man.
Or like a favorite holiday movie.
Oh, you know what I love is what's the Queen Latifah movie when she thinks she's gonna die? She has
where she's
this Christmas or something.
It's either This Christmas or Last Christmas.
I think it is Last Christmas. That movie,
exactly what you're talking about.
Like, wow.
Oh,
yeah.
It's so funny. I just typed it into Google, and the first thing that came up was Queen Latifah Christmas movie. Last Holiday.
Last Holiday. That was, yeah.
Gary, just for everybody who's watching, Gary's favorite Christmas movie is Die Hard. Which many will argue is in fact a Christmas movie, mostly just because it takes place during Christmas.
He had a Santa hat
Which
on
I
for like
guess
2 minutes.
for 2 minutes, yeah, in the there's a Christmas party that's happening, so
With the machine gun,
ring in some cheer. Um,
Good one,
you
Gary.
might have liked it. You might have liked Last Holiday, but not many people did. I
Really?
mean,
I
yeah,
love Last
I mean,
Holiday.
it got a 6.5 on IMDb and a 56% on Rotten Tomatoes.
56, you said?
56, but that's higher than average, so
Right.
greater than 50%. That's
I
great.
love that movie. It's very there are a lot of life lessons. Obviously, it's like about thinking you're going to die and how you would change your perspective on your life savings and how you treat people and things like that. And they're in basically you've seen it, right? You said?
Oh, I haven't seen it in a minute.
It's been a minute.
I'm reading the like summary right now. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, she basically, maybe people want to watch it, so I won't ruin the movie. But she thinks she gets a diagnosis of some type of cancer, I want to say, or something along those lines. Thinks she's gonna die, and decides to just like live lavish for her last moments. Goes to this place that I want to say is in the Czech Republic. It's this like massive hotel complex that's just ridiculous when you see it. And you have to go through like this crazy bridge to get there and all this stuff. She gets there and is around, the cream of the crop, governors and all the super, super rich people, and just trying to live fancy with them. And in doing so, still just brings her natural good human nature, whereas she's surrounded by politicians. So it's like the worst types of humans. Yeah. No offense to any politicians out there,
but I mean, are you wrong? Is it? We? We're not too far off there.
2020, right? But so at a point she meets this renowned chef who all of the people there are infatuated with this chef, and she befriends him just being herself. So they're all impressed at the company that she attracts because it's all of the people that they would want to be around, but they're all of the money hungry people of the world. And so this chef at a point says to her something along the lines of, I don't remember at all. Oh, do you remember? I thought you were asking.
Oh, well, I was going to say he's the chef. Chef Didier is played by Gerard Depardieu, who I love.
Awesome.
Anywho, continue. Right. I was just excited about Gerard Depardieu.
Right. He says something along the lines of, as he's like mixing something, and he's like, some people look for infinite life within a teaspoon of liquid or something like that. Ooh. He makes it was crazy. And then it was basically the foreshadow of the movie. It was super, super great. So I don't know what's up with the rating, but I would definitely recommend that as a, hanging out with your significant other, family members kind of movie. And I also yesterday was asked this, so I'm just going to throw it out there as like, we were asked about a rainy day movie. And for me, it is One Fine Day with George Clooney and Michelle Pfeiffer.
A rainy day movie.
That's the cuddle flick.
A cuddle flick.
Super
cuddle
duper.
Flick. Gotcha.
Like, we're not leaving this place today kind of movie.
We're staying in.
Right.
Gary's here for One Fine Day.
Right. Gary's like, it's been a minute.
Let's see. What would be mine? God.
Well, Christmas movie, and then tell me your rainy day kind of like.
I have two Christmas movies. So my first one is the seminal classic A Christmas Story.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say that, but I was like, that's cheating. Right?
It is, but it's not, because
I'm like, if it's not yours, then I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's one of those. Well, first and foremost, let's just say I think everyone to this date, everyone in the entire universe, there is not a single person who has seen that entire movie from start to finish. And yet,
I will tell you.
every single person has seen the entire movie.
I'll tell you, this is how old I am. When I first saw it, it did not come on for 24 hours straight. So
See?
I saw it when that's, dating myself. That back then you had to watch it because
You
it was
had to
gonna
watch
come
it.
on. I think it was like once a week, all month,
Yeah.
but it wasn't 24 hours a day back to
But
back
see,
like it is
when
today.
it would play 24, because I remember like we would watch it and it would be 24 hours a day for
Crazy, right?
the 26 days leading up to Christmas, or for the entire month from as soon as Thanksgiving was over. That was it.
Yep.
Thanksgiving's done. It's Christmas. Ho, ho, ho. We're in. And it was 24 hours every single day on, like, I don't know, Hallmark or Lifetime or whatever.
Right.
And you would always catch it at random times. So I've seen the entire movie many, many times, multiple times, not from start to finish.
Right.
And I couldn't tell you in what order and what sequence or series of events anything happens in the movie. Because I mean,
Right.
for what it's worth, frankly, in the movie, the series of events there isn't one. It doesn't really matter. It's a bunch of like,
It's just a mess.
it's literally just like his life, a few days in his life leading up to Christmas, and then him getting the BB gun and then shooting himself in the face. But I think that's what makes that story so great, is that you don't have to watch the entire thing from start to finish. You can watch individual parts and like get
You're not messing it up. Yeah.
You're not messing it up because each little segment of the story stands on its own. It's very just anecdotal and cute, which I love.
The lamb.
Oh my God. And the other reason why that's one of my favorite movies is when his mom burns dinner on Christmas and they end up at the Chinese. Okay, so first and foremost, let's circle back and say that, like, you know, in the context of 2020, is this movie like it's not an okay movie. Let's just say that it is not okay. Like there are lots of things in there that are not okay. In particular, like the scene where his mom cooks or burns Christmas dinner and they end up at a Chinese restaurant, and you have the entire staff of the Chinese restaurant singing fa ra 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 ra. I mean, as they chop the head off of the Peking duck at the table. So, you know, but if you go into it, but if you go, I mean, but if you go into it knowing full well that A, that's going to happen, and B, that it's not okay, but you know, it was very
super old school.
It's super old school. It's very,
which doesn't make it right, but it was of the time.
But it's very of the time, and like, you know, there's still, I think, there's still comedy in knowing that, which is brilliant. The other funny reason why I enjoyed it, I mentioned probably 1,000,001 times, not on the podcast, but my family through some like 23andMe, Ancestry.com nonsense found out that our family is actually not Irish at all. But we're actually Jewish, like Ashkenazi Jew. I know there's a whole lot of like escaping persecution. So they were like, let's move to Ireland and like roll with the Catholics and, you know, pretend. But I also appreciate it because it's given me more reason to celebrate Jewish Christmas, which is an actual thing.
Yeah.
Which, again, if you are at home watching and wondering to yourself, what is Jewish Christmas? It is quite literally the night of Christmas where all of the, well, not all of, but the majority of the Jewish population goes and eats like Chinese food because they're the only restaurants that are open. So that's an actual thing. And so my husband and I celebrate it every year. We celebrated it this year and we ordered Chinese food. We've celebrated the last couple of years. It's a really, really fun thing. My mother, another gift from my parents, they got us a box of food from Katz's Delicatessen in New Jersey, which is like the Jewish delicatessen. And it's so good. And I've got some pastrami that I'm defrosting at the moment for
Nice.
later. Yeah, I'm really excited. Anywho, so really quick, oh my gosh, we've got to take a quick little commercial break here and talk about some things. Put a pin in our. Oh, I've got to tell you my rainy day movie before we. Actually, yeah. I'll do that on the other side. Okay, so commercial break. Do. Bow. So first and foremost, today's episode of Next to the Floor is hashtag not sponsored again by Zach and Zoe Sweet Bee Farms at zachandzoe.co. Zach and Zoe Sweet Bee Farms, your premier Black-owned apiary and purveyor of all things honey. They've got a wide variety of wildflower honeys that you can choose. I'm still working through this jar of raspberry honey. It's real, real good.
Best thing ever.
I have it with my cup of tea. It's really nice. I know one of our viewers, Selena, won a jar of it a few weeks ago in one of our hashtag not sponsored giveaways. So because they are our sponsor this week, if you leave a comment and a like on the video, you will be entered to win our hashtag not sponsored giveaway, which is a jar of honey courtesy of Zach and Zoe Sweet Bee Farms. They don't know that they're sponsoring us, but you know, what they don't know doesn't hurt them, but make sure you check them out. Let's see, what else? Oh, speaking of entering into the sweepstakes, there are a couple of other ways that you can, there's actually one other way that you can enter to win, which is really exciting. We have a Patreon. So if you want to support us here at Next to the Floor, help us, you know, keep this wonderful podcast situation up and running, you can visit us at patreon.com/next2, that is NEXT number 2, the floor. And, you know, sign up for one of our 3 tiers of support. They'll, you know, each one gives you different rewards. We've got early access to all of our episodes of Next to the Floor. Oh, that's going to bring up another point here in just a second. We have monthly Ask Me Anythings. We've got extra chances to win things in our drawings, which is really exciting. So check that out again at patreon.com/next to the floor. Want to give a huge shout out to our Patreons for this month. Our first one is Julie Lovelace, coming all the way from Owego. Thank you so much. Thanks a bunch. Get it? Because it's bananas. But I love that. There was something Patreon. There was something that I was saying that brought up another thing, and how quickly I forget, my short-term memory. It was probably not that important. It'll come back to me at the end of this commercial break. But that's, I think, just, oh, got it. Okay. It floods back. Okay. So what's going to be happening with our podcast, which is really exciting. We are going to be trying out something here wherein if you are one of our subscribers to our Patreon, you will have early access to all of our episodes of Next to the Floor. So those will be posted on Sundays. So you will, you know, be able to check them out on our Patreon, or rather, I should say, let me start over. Everyone will have access to our videos the day that they come out, which is awesome. And then our Patreon supporters will have access to them forever, which is great. Our old episodes of Next to the Floor will be disappearing after, you know, a week or two. So make sure that you sign up to become one of our Patreons. I think the lowest tier of support is like $5 or something along those lines. So keep supporting. If you want to listen to old episodes of Next to the Floor, you just hop on there, sign on up, and bada bing, bada boom, there they'll be. So it's that easy. Thanks for listening. And now back to your regularly scheduled podcast. Beep boop, beep boop. So we were talking about favorite movies. So my favorite Christmas movie is A Christmas Story, which is also tied, for what it's worth, with How the Grinch Stole Christmas, the Jim Carrey version.
Nice.
Because he's a phenomenal actor. And it's got to be one of the funniest, like one of his funniest movies.
He's the man.
Half of what he did in that movie is improvised, which is what makes it so much better. Knowing that, like, you know, they were just like, here's a loose idea of the script and like what you have to do in these scenes, and then they were like, just, you know.
Yeah, he's known for that.
Which is like the scene in Dumb and Dumber, which, again, one of the greatest movies of all time. When they're in the car with the guy who ends up dying of a heart attack or whatever. And he turns to him and asks him, do you want to hear the most annoying noise ever? That scene, literally just that 30-second scene, was improvised. He just like made that up on the spot.
Yes, classic. I wonder, have you seen In Living Color from back in the day when he was James Carrey?
Yes, and when he was the fireman.
Fire Marshal Bill.
Fire Marshal Bill.
Oh my goodness. If you like Jim Carrey, and In Living Color has been back on the air for like the last few months, so perfect timing. I think it's on Aspire, a channel called Aspire.
Oh man, back when he first started. And that's
classic.
You know, what I love about Jim Carrey is like he realized this. He's like one of the biggest supporters and biggest allies of the Black community because like he's so outspoken and vocal about all things related to like Black Lives Matter and things along those lines, because he like, and he's made statements saying like, you know, if it weren't for the Black community, I wouldn't be here today.
Yeah, man. He came up with the greats, like Jamie Foxx was on In Living Color, Tommy Davidson, all the Wayans brothers, J-Lo was on there. That's where J-Lo got her start as a dancer. Yup, as the Fly Girl.
Fun
classic
fact,
television.
You know, shocking to literally no one. I came out when I was in when I was a freshman in college. And so looking back on my life, I was, you know, I got to think to myself, how did I, like, you know, what kept me from coming out earlier? And, you know, I thought I was doing a pretty good job of hiding it. But one of the things that my brother and I would do is we would watch In Living Color religiously. That was like our favorite show. And we would try to do the dances that the Fly Girls were doing in the beginning of the show.
Oh my God, they used to kill it. So those are great dance routines today, 30 years later.
Those were it. And we would try to match them move for move, like in real time. We wouldn't like it where there weren't any recordings, so it wasn't like we were trying to like go back and rewatch and try to learn the moves. It was like we were watching.
Let's go.
Man, what a time!
That's too funny.
What a time! So
that show is amazing. But you got to tell us your last movie.
Okay, so my rainy day movie. So I have. Well, okay, so a rainy day movie that I like would cuddle up to. Oh, this is so hard. I would say, okay, here are my top three. Miss Congeniality, starring Sandra Bullock. So I love me some Sandy B. Shocking, again, to absolutely no one, Mean Girls, because I think it's one of the greatest movies of all time, and it was a cultural reset and defines a generation. And then if I'm just looking for a movie to like cuddle up to anyone, but just like to watch on my own on a rainy day, it would be Spirited Away by it's a Miyazaki masterpiece. Highly recommend if you haven't seen Spirited Away and want to learn some life lessons and
I don't think I've
see
seen that.
great animation. Spirited Away is one of the greatest movies of all time, hands down. And I will die on that hill. That is one hill I am willing to die on.
Oh, it's old
Make
school.
sure you check it out. Yeah, it's great. It's
yeah, have I seen this? I don't think so.
You really have to get into it. It's so good.
It looks like Naruto animation.
Yeah, it is. It's a classic Japanese anime, but it's what's his
I gotta
name?
check this out.
Miyazaki, Hayao Miyazaki, one of the most well-known animators. He created like Ponyo, My Neighbor Totoro, Howl's Moving Castle, all sorts of incredible movies. Brilliant mind. Yeah, super
Nice.
good. But yeah, those are my movies. That's what I know. I gave 3.
Yeah.
Just shows you I'm indecisive. It all depends on what's on Netflix.
Yeah, time of what year it is probably matters.
Yeah.
What's going on. But this is a great thing for everybody to comment on in the comment section.
Comment below. Let us know what your favorite holiday movie is or what your favorite like rainy day movie is. Leave a comment below because we're interested. Let's see what movie like really makes people tick. I know Gary said his favorite holiday movie is Die Hard.
Die Hard.
Gary, while you're, organizing things on screen, let us know what your favorite rainy day movie is. Oh man. So as we come up to the end of today's episode, One Fine Day. His is also One Fine Day. Yeah,
he did double click that, yeah.
He did mention that. Okay. I don't think I've actually seen One Fine Day.
Oh man, it's like, first of all, George Clooney, I'd probably watch every movie with him. I love Michelle Pfeiffer too, so it was just like already. But then it's just a really good movie to watch with kids, to watch with like a significant other, to watch by yourself. Life lessons, like all the good stuff. Just sit there, have it on in the background. Super classy film.
George Clooney also in Up in the Air.
Up in the Air does not sound familiar.
It came out in 2009. Holy cow. Yeah, it was George Clooney. Yeah, George Clooney and Anna Kendrick. Okay, never mind. Just thinking of films with George Clooney in it. See, he's so quick. One Fine Day.
Nice.
There you go. So
touchdown.
It gets the next to the floor stamp of approval.
Yeah, right, man. There. That's a classic.
And that stamp holds a lot of weight.
Like if you have 100 movies you have to watch in your lifetime, I would say that's definitely one of them.
Amen. Well, I will have to watch it because I haven't seen it yet. I will make that.
I got to say Spirited Away.
It's so good.
Yeah, it looks really good. I love anime.
It's really good. There's so many layers to it. It's so good. You could watch it 20 times and pick up a new thing each time.
Yeah, that's the only way.
I feel the same way with, rewatching. I think that's, the important thing about rewatching films and in particular like Christmas movies is catching up and picking up on those nuances, thinking about The Last Holiday.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably one of the reasons why it didn't do so well. Stick with me. I don't think it did super well. A, because, you know, when I think of Queen Latifah, I don't necessarily think of like actress.
Mm-hmm.
So that's A, you know, unfortunately. You know, she
Yeah,
was
yeah.
always Latifah, the rap superstar to me. But, you know, I think that deep message that comes with it of, you know, living your life to the fullest and trying to, like, too many people try to live an entire lifetime in a teaspoon worth of moments or whatever, entire
Yeah.
lifetime of moments
When you
or
said that, I
whatever
was like, oh.
you said, right? But like, I think a concept or a thought like that can't be bogged down by like, I don't know, kind of shoehorned. Like, it feels like the idea, not necessarily shoehorned, but it's, I don't know, the rest of the story feels a little bit like cheesy and put on.
Yeah.
You know, so like you have to go through, you have to like deal with a lot of cheese in order to get to like the
The
meat.
goods. Yeah.
Which, you know, I love a good charcuterie board, but you gotta, you know, everything's gotta line up nicely.
True
Everything's
that.
gotta line up. Well, believe it or not, we've come to the very end
Yeah,
of
yeah.
today's episode. Mein Gott. And scarily enough, the last episode of 2020. We did it, everyone. Well, everybody calm down.
I know.
There's still 4 days
Stay
left.
tuned.
There's still 4 days left in the year. So
Yeah.
hold on to your horses. Bjorn, any last words for the people for the year 2020?
Yes. Do better in 2021. You know, hold
Like
yourself accountable, hold others accountable, hold your politicians accountable. Yeah, educate yourself and try to educate others.
Amen. I dig that.
Yeah, man.
That's it. Well, you know, I like having you give the last word. That's so fun. You
Yeah,
always
I
have
love
like
that.
you have like the best things to say.
Thanks.
If I were to give last words to the people in
The peeps.
the peeps from 2020, you know, I just kind of have to echo you. You know, like 2021 is going to be a year for us all to just actively try and do better, like
Yeah,
better
man.
yourself in every single possible way. You know, learn, like never stop learning, never stop growing, question things, but question the right things. You know, don't necessarily go into like life blindly accepting everything, but you know, if something doesn't sit right or doesn't feel right, you know, ask the experts, and don't be upset if their answer isn't what you want to hear.
Right.
You know, um, take care of each other, get vaccinated, distance yourself socially, wear a mask. Our all of our collective thoughts and prayers. I know there's not a whole lot that we can do outside of giving thoughts and prayers and donating and whatever. Go to everyone in, oh gosh, is it Tennessee?
Nashville.
Nashville. Yeah. Like that was the whole story. Didn't even talk about this episode. That'll be next
Yeah.
episode. Oh man,
Yeah.
more
You know,
comes out. Holy cow.
keeping the mood light.
Yeah. But thoughts and prayers to everyone in Nashville. And remember, you know, life, just like Queen Latifah found out in her movie, life is short. So live it to the fullest and just be kind to the people around you, you know, because it costs you $0 to be a good person. Literally zero. And with that, thank you all so much for all of your love and support for this year. It has been a very interesting journey, and we're excited to keep growing and developing and bringing you more fun conversations for the year 2021. So with that, have a phenomenal new year, and we'll see you on the other side. Peace out.
See ya.